And I think, you know, you touched on it initially when in our opening we were joking about the fact that we're cousins, but I think that really is the heart of what this film's about. We are a global community, and, you know, the actions that take place in one place, they really do have consequences everywhere else. And I think it's that realization that this is one planet, one world, and we can work together to try and make change happen, to try and do something positive for everybody.
Hi, welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. I'm Tish Taylor with Concerned Citizens of St. John. This podcast is really to discuss community resilience and also social responsibility. Today, our special guests are Chris Nelson and Miss Demi Taylor. She's my cousin. She doesn't know it yet. But before we leave today, she's going to be my cousin. She's a Taylor, so that's okay. Chris and Demi, I'm so excited to talk about this because this movie, this documentary that you created on our behalf has made us, I believe that it's just changed the trajectory of our advocacy. And we appreciate that so much. And I just want to know, tell me a little bit about your background. I'll start with you, Chris, and then Demi, and then we'll kind of move into the Big C documentary.
Mm-hmm. So I guess my work's always revolved around surfing. Mm-hmm. So I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and I've done documentary series about kind of pioneers of youth culture and about things that are part of the surfing culture. And I guess I've just always been attracted to the ocean and kind of surfing and kind of being out in nature and with the wildlife, you know. So, yeah, I think my work's always revolved around that. And I think that's how, at a kind of a tangent, we kind of have all come together on this project.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. But you've been in this business for 30 years, right?
Yes, a long time, yeah.
Right.
I started surfing, I'm going to say at a young age, but actually I had to wait until I could drive because living in the UK, I lived like an hour away from the coast. So once I was 17 and I could drive, then I could get to the coast and I could surf. So giving away my age, I have been surfing for, about
20 years.
30 years. Yeah, let's say 20.
Yeah, okay, we're going to stick with that's a good number.
That'd be my media age.
That's okay. What about you, Demi?
I think Chris and I have had quite similar careers, actually. I've been involved in the board sports industry for probably nearly 25 years, I would say. And I've been involved in sort of all aspects of it, from the marketing side of it into the storytelling side of it. So as a journalist and as an author, and also as a producer and writer on the Big C, and also as a festival director. So back in the UK, in about 2 weeks' time, we're hosting the London Surf Film Festival, which we've hosted for 15 years. So yeah, it's like a celebration of international surf culture. And it's actually where the Big C premiered last year, this sort of time.
Right.
So yeah, it's incredible to come full circle and now bring the film back home. Yeah, it really feels like that. It really feels like that.
So everyone, the Big C is a documentary, and it's the Big SEA, and it's a documentary pretty much introducing the surfing community to the effects of them wearing neoprene wetsuits. So Chris, I'll ask you to kind of explain how you came up with the concept. What made you select this of all causes? What did that?
So the Guardian newspaper did a series of articles about Cancer Alley. Guardian's such a prominent kind of newspaper that I think if you're interested in like real news, you read the Guardian and you find out about these things that are happening around the world. And we were reading about Cancer Alley. And in one of the articles, it mentioned neoprene in association with Denka. And I think as surfers, that immediately rings a bell because you hear about factories around the world and some terrible pollution issues. But when you hear of a substance that's actually tied to your lifestyle, that immediately rang alarm bells for us. And so we decided to try and find out more. And I think when we started digging into the issue, there was quite a bit of initial resistance within the surf industry, because I think they were a little bit sensitive about the fact. And so we tried to explore it through the surf media and raise the issues. And I think when we found resistance to that, then the three of us, myself, Demi, and Lewis Arnold, we decided that this needed to be a feature documentary, because we, as surfers, we care about the environment. We don't want the products that we buy and use to be having a detrimental effect on anybody else. And we knew that surfers around the world would feel the same if they knew.
Yes.
And so we decided to make the film ourselves. You know, we financed the initial edit ourselves, and we got the film out there, and we started to, you know, make noise about it. And then we raised a little bit more money to be able to make the full feature documentary. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was like a 4 or 5 year
project.
Yeah. So it started in 2020?
Yes. Yeah.
So when was your first visit to Cancer Rally?
So Lewis came initially and did some interviews, did a short film, and then he brought the short film to us and he said, "What do you think?" And we were like, "Wow, this is such an incredible story that why don't we know about it?" You know, we were like, "How can we not know about it?" Because we're purchasing this product and we're consumers, and if we were made aware, then we could make more informed decisions. And so the three of us sat down and we said, let's do this project together. And then Lewis and I came back a couple of times and visited with you and did many interviews. And I think one of the things that resonated with the surf community around the world, and we have literally taken this film around the world, is the eloquence, you know, that concerned citizens and Rice St. James and the community activists here have explained this story. And I think it just resonated with surfers around the world, and they were like, no, we're not going to take this. That's and awesome. So there's been a huge shift within the surfing world away from wearing neoprene wetsuits.
Because there is an alternative.
There is.
And I mean, I think for us, this is quite a big thing, because, you know, in today's society, we're so aware of so many issues that are out there, and it can feel overwhelming at times, can't it, to be presented with all these problems when there isn't an answer, there isn't an alternative. But in this instance, there is an alternative, and it literally grows on trees. I mean, it's like a Hollywood ending, isn't it? You can use this horrible toxic chemical, which has a proven direct link to harming people's health, or you can use a natural alternative that's regenerative and sustainable. I mean, surely that's a perfect story, and it's such an easy concept for people to get on board with. And I think, you know, you touched on it initially when in our opening we were joking about the fact that we're cousins, but I think that really is the heart of what this film's about. We are a global community, and, you know, the actions that take place in one place, they really do have consequences everywhere else. And I think it's that realization that this is one planet, one world, and we can work together to try and make change happen, to try and do something positive for everybody.
And it did it.
So then when we started to tell people about this, I think it's made everybody question what the brands have been telling us. Because when they tell us that a product is environmental, I think we've been trusting them.
Yeah.
Because you go, well, they're a big company, why would they lie to us? And I think now people are saying, when they go, we've got this new product and it's environmental and it's eco and sustainable. Sustainable is the big thing. People are saying, prove it. Like, tell me why it's sustainable, show us the proof. And I think that's been a really positive thing, because I think outside of just the wetsuit world, you know, when they bring out a new jacket and they go, oh, it's sustainable, it's made from like old fishing nets. And I think people are going, well, why is that a good thing?
Right.
And I think
how did you create that?
Yeah.
exactly.
Exactly.
And it might be a good thing, but you should be happy to prove it.
Yeah. We've been meeting with chemistry students, young chemistry students. We've been going like to college campuses and the chemistry association, and asking them to do environmental chemistry, and understand that if they find a replacement for some terrible thing, that mass production of it still has to be clean. So whatever you create in your little lab, you have to think of it on a grand scale. And that means that it still shouldn't poison us, even though it's supposed to help remove all plastic from the world.
Exactly.
But it's going to kill the community that we're producing it in. So,
Yeah.
we want them to be responsible. And so there's little niches that we never thought of
Yeah.
that we're really going to now, and trying to encourage youth, young people,
Yeah.
to know that.
Because I think people are so much more switched on to the wider impact of things when they're younger.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been conditioned by life and how easy things are,
Oh
and
my
how
God,
easy it is
yes.
just to go out and buy this convenience product.
Yeah.
You know, you have so much passion and care and thought when you're younger.
Yeah. So we got to catch them before they're damaged. We're working on that. We're trying to get our youth to understand.
No, I think that's brilliant.
It's so important for them to understand
Yeah.
how they need to have a better perception of life in the world that they live in,
Yeah.
past just the kitchen and school.
But it's amazing, I think the story of here, you can see it being played out in so many different other aspects, can't you? Like, Teflon on pans.
Yeah.
Like there's been. Now is the time, I think, where the sort of almost anti-chemical revolution is happening.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope people are switched on to.
Well,
like you
and
said.
the thing about it is, everything is at your fingertips. Just research it.
Yeah.
Forever chemicals are everywhere. And I'm telling you, I love a nonstick pot.
Yes.
And I didn't exactly discard it when the non-stick stuff started coming out. That was so bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like cooking it in my food, So, and most people don't know that because we want that convenience.
Exactly.
So I think that everybody's kind of getting more and more aware of this, and like I said, it's a wonderful place to be if you're actually a part of the message.
Yeah, it really is.
I like that. a lot.
It really is.
I like that a lot. We had success. You had success. How many film festivals have you actually shown?
Wow. So we've screened in, England, Ireland, France, Germany, Sweden, Portugal, Spain,
Australia, Hawaii, Chile. Yes.
We're screening in South Africa in the new year. It's been. We've basically taken it everywhere from like the Melbourne Documentary Film Festival, which is a big, Australian film festival, through to we drove through Europe and we did a series of community screenings in front of 350 people in one venue, maybe down to 150 in others. And everywhere we went, it was completely sold out.
Yeah.
So we screened to 250 people in France.
Yeah.
And people were sitting in the aisles.
It was like standing room only.
Yeah.
And
because people wanted to know. They had read about the film and they really, really wanted to know what is going on. How can we find out and how can we do something about it?
That is so amazing. We grow up with these petrochemical industries all around us, and we're really not aware of what they even do. And it's sad to say that we don't know the finished product of anything that they do. And knowing that we come from the river parishes, so we're not, I don't think surfing is like one of our things, but it is the major use of neoprene. It's just crazy for us to actually suffer the consequences of the emissions of chloroprene for something that's a luxury that we don't even partake in. and what I love is that the whole world is learning about this.
Mm.
And then they're saying, we're going to do something about it.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was kind of, when the three of us sat down, we wanted this to be, yes, it's a story about surfing, but this can be like a Trojan horse in that surfing's the hook, and surfing is, you know, the wetsuit industry's been using neoprene for like 50 years.
Yeah.
But so have other industries. And the good thing about the film has been that when we've done screenings, people have come up to us afterwards and said, well, I'm not a surfer, but I'm a cyclist. And I know in cycling, we wear neoprene gloves for when it's raining. And so I'm part of this story. And I'm going to write to the brand that makes those neoprene gloves and say, why can't we have those gloves made of natural rubber? And then somebody else has come up and gone, well, I'm not a surfer, but I go fishing and I wear waders. And in my waders, they have neoprene. And I'm going to write to the company that makes these waders and say, why can't they be made of natural rubber? And I think that's the thing, is that the story is, it's about dominoes. And when the first domino starts to fall and the knowledge gets out there, you know, hopefully then we can see a change where all these uses of neoprene, where we don't need to use neoprene, where we can be using natural rubber. Golf club handles,
Yeah.
they don't need to be neoprene. They
Yeah.
could easily be natural rubber.
Right.
So why do we have to have a factory that causes pollution when we could be using like a regenerative natural rubber plantation?
Right.
You know, that's generations old, that is a small holding, that's providing a, you know, a good standard of living for people in Thailand or Vietnam. So, you know, it's like,
It's not rocket science.
it-
No.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, in most cases we always find ourselves just saying, oh, just bad news. And a major part of what we want to do on this podcast is shine light on there are other ways
Yeah.
that things can be done. We can live with the convenience of things, but not in a way that hurts the community and hurts the earth itself in the process. So I love the idea that you actually had a solution to the problem. And I do believe that it hurt their bottom line when everyone started writing these companies and saying, you know, you need to move to natural rubber instead of synthetic rubber because you're killing people. You know, and putting a face on it, I do believe makes all the difference in the world,
It does.
no matter where you are. Because, you know, those people in Cancer Rally, oh, Tish, Mr. Robert Taylor, Miss Sharon Levine, oh, and, you know, this person, you see yourself better when you actually see a face of someone speaking to you. And they understand that, hey, we're working class people. We work, we earn our living, we have families, we build our own homes, we're homeowners, and we deserve to have a quality of life just like everyone else in the world. And if I can just make a small decision on my luxury and that helps these people, well, then that's what I'm supposed to do. It's my responsibility.
You know, I think you sort of said it so eloquently, but it really is, it's about the power that we all have to affect change.
Right.
And I think that's definitely been led by the campaigning work of St. John's for certain. And it's something that we've been really privileged to kind of come at from a different perspective with the film.
Absolutely.
And to sort of support the incredible work and the incredible activism and advocacy of your community.
yeah.
We've been
I think we felt that maybe if we can contribute in a tiny way, because the incredible work that you guys have done. I mean,
Thank you.
if it wasn't for your voices, no one would know about this.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Thank you.
And I think that's why the pieces in The Guardian and everything we read and saw was so powerful, and I think resonated with everybody. And we would just like, let's let people hear these stories. I mean, in a way, we just wanted to try and, you know, pass your voices on to people and let them hear, because, you know, our film has no like narrator.
Right.
You know, it's your lived experiences that are really resonating with people, and I think that's what's amazing is, like Demi says, in the world at the moment, we can feel like there aren't many positive stories that going around in the world of the environment and petrochemicals. You know, there's been a rollback of kind of legislation and things like that, and I think when we have a positive story like this, then people need to hear about it, and people need to hear that you can actually make a positive change.
Yeah.
By ultimately, it's a small sacrifice,
Yeah.
and I think when people know that, then they really, really want to get behind it.
Right, right. That's so amazing. I always like to ask people after they've visited and spoken with us, and they pack up the cameras and put everything away and drive back to the hotel. How do you feel? How does that our story impact you emotionally? By being in the moment when you come here and visit and sit on my sofa or in my yard or with my dad. How do you? What type of energy do you have when you leave here?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, ultimately, I think it changed our lives.
Yeah.
Like, coming and hearing your stories, I mean, we went away and it's been like a 5-year mission. Like, we were like, we can never wear neoprene again. And I know other people will feel the same. But also hearing about not just the impact that it's had on your life, but the way that you guys explain it, and the eloquence and the I feel like the way that you guys have taken on this campaign has been really dignified, and I think just by letting people hear you explain, it just resonated with everyone. You know, like somebody in Sweden hears it, and somebody in Chile hears it, and
it resonates.
And it resonates with them.
Yeah.
So I think us personally coming and meeting you, it like changed our lives, and this has been our 5-year mission. Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. And I'm sorry that Louis isn't here.
Yes.
What's he doing? Why is he not here sitting with me?
Yes.
There's actually another screening happening on Sunday in France, which in southwest France, which is another real hotbed of the surfing industry. So it was really important for us to be able to, yes, bring the story to New Orleans and bring it home, but also at the same time take the story again directly to the surfing industry and keep posing those difficult questions. Because I think, you know, you said it, the factory has currently ceased production.
Yes.
Which is wonderful news, but I guess right now it must feel, I'd be interested to know how it feels for you, but we wondered, is this a once in a generation opportunity for those doors to remain closed? You know, do we still need to keep lobbying the brands to ensure that that change from neoprene is complete?
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't need neoprene. I don't need a koozie, and my mouse pad doesn't need to be made of neoprene. I believe the best thing ever is natural rubber. You know, I mean, you can't go wrong. So it's we don't need them, whether they're in Reserve La Place, Louisiana, or whether they're in Japan. Neoprene should no longer exist.
Yeah.
And right now, since these people decided that their finances were more important than their 250 employees, that they couldn't lose a certain amount of money to lower their emissions, then, you know, I feel sad that they weren't good stewards of not just the community and the air, but also to their own employees. That's what's so sad. And so now they are mothballing it. That's the term that they use, and I still haven't gotten that down yet, but I know that that means that they're no longer producing, so I'm very happy. It's a relief for me to actually go outside in my yard now and not wonder how much chloroprene is in the air. And it's a wonderful day when I know that any newborn coming home will never have that exposure that my 3-year-old grandson has. Because at 2 years old, he had exceeded his lifetime exposure to chloroprene at 2. So it doesn't matter if you were here a year a minute, however long, and you were exposed to chloroprene, you take that with you wherever you are, you know. And so we want to make sure that no one else experiences that. And that's what has happened. And it's happened because you were a part of that. And we appreciate you so much. I'm not trying to cry, but this is an unbelievable experience for us who were told from day one, you can't fight those people. A little handful of people with red shirts saying 0.2 micrograms per cubic meter of air. That was like something we had to practice, you know what I'm saying? And we did it. We did it because we cried out and people heard.
Yeah.
And they came. That's amazing. So Chris, when you and Louis showed up on my steps, carrying cameras upstairs and sitting with my dad and myself and going over to St. James with Miss Sharon, you know, we have done so many documentaries. And I know that whoever looked at them were impacted. But you did a call to action. You changed things. And I just can't say how grateful our community is for what you've done. I look so forward to watching that film with people who may have never seen it, who probably haven't seen it yet, and seeing their reaction and knowing that you started a movement that just changed, that just removed a toxic pollutant from our air, period.
You started the movement.
Well, yeah, we had the...
Yeah, you started the movement.
And you grabbed on.
And you guys have changed surf culture and also feeding into that kind of outdoors culture.
Yeah.
Because without your work and without your advocacy, we wouldn't have known. Yeah. We were complicit in this story without knowing.
It's true. Until we read that article in The Guardian, which spoke about the work of St. John's, we didn't know. We were still buying neoprene wetsuits.
Yeah.
It was only at that moment that we all opened up our sheds and went, they're full of neoprene wetsuits in there. We can't be part of the problem any longer.
Yeah.
You know.
That's excellent. Is there a big cost difference between the two?
No. When we originally started, the natural rubber wetsuits, the quality wasn't quite as good. They were a little bit more expensive, so there was a slight barrier. But they were being sold as they have a much lower carbon footprint. So people who were eco-conscious could go, well, I'm going to buy this because there's less of a carbon footprint. But once our story got out there about the true cost of neoprene, people were like, well, I'm not going to buy this product. I will gladly pay a little bit extra.
Yeah.
And then as more people did it, then the price came down, the quality got better.
Yeah.
The brands realized, I mean, when we first started, there were probably 4 brands that were only sold natural rubber wetsuits.
Right.
But now there's 25, 30 wetsuit brands.
Like more and more brands are switching every day.
You know, there's a brand in Cornwall called Seaskins. They made only neoprene wetsuits. They're now switching to natural rubber wetsuits. Their whole range. I mean, and that is happening with the big surf brands as well. So like your Billabongs, you know, they had maybe a range of natural rubber wetsuits. Well, now you can buy their whole range in natural rubber.
Excellent.
And I think surfers, it's like, it's just a given now. Like, why would you not buy this thing, which is, you know.
And it's good because there is, and I think there should be, I think there's a level of shame that people feel when they say, oh, I have a neoprene wetsuit. Yeah. Like, you should feel ashamed. There is no reason now. You have the knowledge, there is an alternative, and you know what that real cost of neoprene is. You should feel ashamed if you're still buying it.
Yes.
I just don't think there's any reason.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it is amazing when we do these screenings, and we've attended so many of them because we want to do the Q&As after, because there's always questions, like people are always like, I want to know more. And at the end, we always do a show of hands and we say to people, would you go into a shop now and buy a neoprene wetsuit? Or would you buy a natural rubber wetsuit? And everybody says, I will never buy a neoprene wetsuit again.
Like a show of hands, it feels quite powerful,
Yeah.
doesn't it, to see 200 people sat in an auditorium voting for natural rubber.
Yeah. And it's amazing because some people go, I bought a neoprene wetsuit last week because I didn't know about this, but I'm going to send it back.
Yeah.
And they send it back to the manufacturer,
Yes.
and they say, I want my money back. And that has a real impact with the brands.
That's
you know.
awesome.
Because money talks, doesn't
Yes,
it?
it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
You know?
Obviously. They shut down,
Yeah.
claiming for financial reasons. Oh, go figure.
Have you noticed any change in your life since it's closed?
No, because it doesn't have it. You don't smell it. What we smell is the process of producing the neoprene. It's a weird kind of smell that we have. You know, like when it rains and it's really foggy or something like that. When everything kind of ends up hovering low, we get that funky smell, but it's not actually the chloroprene because it's odorless. So on this beautiful clear day, we would have, thousands of times more chloroprene than we're supposed to have exposure to without even having any idea. And that's the bad thing. There's no warning. There's nothing that can say, I think I go inside and turn the air conditioner off because they're pushing it out today or whatever. But it's not, a lot of times it's rainy days and foggy and 2 and 3 in the morning when people are sleeping and less likely to notice it is when we really get that really pungent smell. So I'm just happy that hopefully we don't have that experience ever. They first said that they were trying to sell the neoprene plant, but we haven't heard anything about anyone up to purchasing it. And that's frightening to us because we know how our government is right now. It's pretty lax, and LDEQ and the state, being the pro-industry, people that they are, that means that we know it could happen. They'll say, well, we're about to bring it back up, and then we're just going to call out everybody again, and hopefully they'd have to get their own permit and stuff like that, and we'd be active in stopping them from being permitted. So we're watching it closely, but we are elated.
Yeah.
We are elated. I was so happy to just send y'all that email like, hey, as of May 13th, they no longer are producing neoprene in St. John the Baptist Parish, and that is such a relief. And I'm just so happy that y'all participated and that we made a difference, and we can have people understand that your word matters.
The Surf Industry Manufacturers Association, which is like the trade body, they were very resistant because I think they knew what was going to happen, but they didn't like that we were saying this is a historic problem and surfing has been implicated in it. And I think they were like, who are these 3 surfers from the UK to come and tell us in California, where the surf industry, and so there was definite pushback. And we just went around them.
Yeah.
We just went to the people and like...
We tried the industry, and then we tried the brands, and then we took it to the people who really can make a difference, and that's people, consumers, because you vote with your dollar every time you buy something.
Absolutely.
And it's really annoying to have wetsuits returned with a note saying no thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is that there are always gatekeepers. There are always these people who will stop you getting your message across. So for us, the Surf Industry Manufacturers Association was a gatekeeper because they stopped our message going in certain surf media outlets and our film getting into certain festivals because they would say to the media outlets, well, maybe the brands won't advertise with you if you tell people about this story. And, in certain festivals came back to us and said, this is an amazing film, but we can't show it because if we do, then our sponsors won't like it. So, but then we just went around that and we showed it to the people anyway. And then from the grassroots up, people stopped buying it. People said, I'm not going to buy it. And then they go up to the brands and say, why are you still selling this?
Right.
So then the brands are like, well, we have to make a change because our consumers are stopping to buying our product.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Money.
Yeah. I think in Europe, the surf brands and the surf community and the surf film festivals and the surf media have actually been quite a lot more receptive. We've definitely had a lot more pushback in the States.
yeah.
And I think we were surprised because we thought, well, this is a no-brainer. It's an easy story and there's an easy change and brands don't even have to lose money. But I think they are ultimately changing, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
They just don't want to have to vocally engage with it.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. And hopefully they'll just quietly change
Yeah.
without making a big deal. But all of a sudden.
But then
that's
we'll
when-
say, everybody look.
Hey, look who just did this.
Yeah.
They decided to do it, and and honestly, I maybe we need to do a writing campaign, just saying thank you for creating a new option, a new old option.
Yeah. Because it is. It's old. It's historic.
Yeah, I mean DuPont started with rubber,
Yeah.
and then came up with the synthetic, and because we can't let Dinka take the hit for this without DuPont because they're the ones who started this.
Of course.
And they did this for over 50 years, unregulated to our community,
Yeah.
and then hurry up and sold that liability to Dinka right at the,
That's
right at the right before that Irish stuff came out. And they all of the new research on neoprene and chloroprene. That's when Dinka bought something that they didn't even realize was going to start a whole a war.
yeah. I
A
know.
war on chloroprene.
I mean, I do think it would be. I think it could be quite powerful, maybe to be able to have a message from concerned citizens to maybe the more reluctant surf industry
Yeah.
as to, maybe feelings of, if you haven't changed, why not?
Right. Well, maybe we need to do that.
I think that would be
We need
really
to shoot that.
powerful if we could do something.
2 messages. Thank you for saving the lives in our future to the ones who made the change. And if you're still doing it,
Shame on you.
you're not a good neighbor.
I think that would have so much more power, because obviously we're taking that message,
Right.
but we're just the filmmakers. It's your story, and I think that. I mean, how can the surf industry
Ignore that.
exactly?
Hopefully they can.
I don't think they can. I think it would have.
So did you bring your cameras and everything with y'all this weekend?
We do.
I was kidding. I thought you.
We would really love to catch up with you though, and do just spend a short amount of time because we don't want to take up all your valuable time. But it would be really lovely because obviously the film finishes before the plant has closed.
Right.
And we'd love to do a really short, just 2 or 3 minute add-on after the credits to say that the plant has closed or has ceased production and almost how it feels.
Yeah.
And almost a kind of, the job's kind of half done, but let's keep going. And then we can use that in future screenings.
I think that's
Because then people will go, hey, you know what, I bought a natural rubber wetsuit, and then they'll feel like, hey, maybe I contributed.
People will feel good,
And
Yeah.
then they'll tell their friends
Yeah.
because
and people who are maybe more reluctant will have a real emotional impetus to crack on with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shame on
Yes, I think it's okay.
you. Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at my schedule. Dad's there. He's ready. He's 85 now. He's still fighting. Looking good, though. He's looking good. We're doing a toxic tour this evening.
Wow.
He's starting it, so he'll be getting on a bus with a group of people from out of state, from all over the country. And we're going to share, ride them through the community.
amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What a good idea. idea.
That's wonderful.
Is this a new initiative?
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah. You want me to get y'all on the bus?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna work something out.
Yeah.
We give if you got to give you guys a personal tour.
Yeah, that would be.
But you've done everything. It's just now it's just a little organized with the. You've been to the grave with Daddy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff is what we do.
Oh,
Fifth Ward Elementary Marathon, the grave, that kind of stuff.
That's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the conversations we had with the surf brands was we talked about the issue of doing business with Denker, because obviously Denker they're not good guys.
No.
You know, they've known about this for decades.
Yes.
They have not taken any action they could have done. They could have cut down the emissions. So when we spoke to the brands and we explained everything to them, some of them said, but we know that the neoprene we get now doesn't come from the Denker plant in Cancer Alley. It comes from the Denker plant in Japan. So we said, but morally, how can you do business with Denker?
Yeah.
Like, you're still putting money into their pockets. Like, as a brand, you consider yourselves to be a sustainable kind of, some of them, these are B Corps, you know, which means they have this sustainability kind of certification. And we were like, how can you morally put money into the pocket of Denker? Like, even if it's coming from their plant in Japan, you're still subsidizing the plant in Cancer Alley.
Right.
And they are knowingly polluting that environment. Yeah. So as a brand, you have to ask yourself, are we going to do that? Are we going to put money in their pockets?
Right.
Like, you have to make moral judgments in business nowadays.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But you have to place that before them.
Yeah.
Because it's just easy to just say, oh, it's them. It's okay. Well, we took care of those people, but not the other ones.
Yeah.
And we're not doing anything to stop the production. Anyway, it's okay. It's difficult. And I think that a lot of people look at people as a mass and not an individual person like they look at in the mirror every day of their lives.
Yeah. But I think that's the difference between people seeing you and hearing from you directly, as opposed to reading an article about something that's happening to a community in a place that you've never been.
Yeah.
You don't have that same emotional attachment. You should, but you don't. You have much more of an emotional ability to engage with a story when you've looked us in the eye and you've told us, you know, the impact it's had on you and your family.
Yeah.
That makes people care.
Yeah.
Much
we
more.
Wonder. We got relief. We're relieved. We got that relief.
And you've got to celebrate the win.
We have to hold on to that
because it's a
win.
huge win.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we've made an impact
Yeah,
that
you have.
cannot be reversed. I don't believe it could ever be reversed, what
No.
we've done.
No, it can't.
So the question here that we normally finish with is, how do you define being a good neighbor? This is our Good Neighbor podcast. What do you think of when you think of a good neighbor?
I think it's just having that capacity for compassion. I think probably looking out for the things where you can find those similarities, a reason to have a conversation, as opposed to maybe focusing on people's differences, because I think people are always going to come head to head when they focus on differences.
Yes.
And I think it's, when you look for that lovely Venn diagram where your lives cross over, might only be a small sliver, but I think if you can find that, you can be a good neighbour, because you can feel empathy and compassion for somebody.
Yes. Great.
And I think one of the things that I've realised is, the surfing community, we kind of think of ourselves as we're kind of brought together because of our love of the ocean. And if you live in a small village like we do, we have a community, but you can go to the other side of the world and meet surfers and you feel like you're part of the same community. And I think we realised through this story that, this is part of our community.
Yes.
And that, you guys are our neighbours and we should be considering our neighbours.
Yes.
And I think that's what's happened as we've toured around and spoken to people. They've gone, this parish is part of our community and we need to do more to kind of protect it. And I think that's what being good neighbours is about.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming back out to Reserve.
Yes.
I'm so happy, and I hope you enjoy yourself while you're in New Orleans, and get a good pot of gumbo. And if you can't find any, just call me, and I'm gonna get somebody else to cook it, though, just not me. Maybe that's what'll happen. For your own safety, I'll get someone else to cook the gumbo for you. So thank you for coming, and I appreciate everything. And thank you for joining us for the Good Neighbor podcast. I'm Tish Taylor, and until next time, be a good neighbor.